Sharapova, I don't think played as well as she could, but I'm not so sure she would have beaten Lisicki at yesterday's form anyway. But you know, and also Sharapova just coming off of the French Open win, and sometimes there's a letdown like Nadal, and on the men's side. So it's tough. They only have 2 or 3 weeks in between, and it's close for them. But I was surprised. I admire Sharapova though. Everybody given up on her about 3 years ago because of her shoulder. After her shoulder operation, she was double faulting. She persevered, didn't listen to people, just kept trying. It's amazing what she's done. But Lisicki, Sabine, and a lot of the other great women players, we've got young ones coming up, and we've got tremendous depth. And women's sports, it's really in its infancy. Women's sports worldwide. But women's tennis is the leader in women's sports, and so a lot of things that we do really do set the tone for other women.
And not for the first time, there's a bit of controversy around the women's game. One of the men raised the issue of equal pay once again, and the other issue that comes up again and again is the 3 sets versus 5 sets. How do you feel about all of that?
It's very simple. We're very willing to play 3 out of 5. They don't want us to play 3 out of 5, okay, because of programming. Secondly, Elton John, if he gives a concert, you're not paid by the hour as an entertainer. People have to remember that. And there's prize money there to be won. But also we send out, as leaders in women's sports, as women's tennis, we send a very positive message. It's really not about the money. It's about the message that we send globally, that it's important that women and men are paid equally.
But do you get frustrated that at the moment, you look at the men's game with a little bit of envy because they've got these 4 characters at the top of the game, which a lot of people recognize as there's a soap opera playing out, which the women's game doesn't really have?
It goes in cycles, okay? And when there's rivalries and there's those exceptions, like when Martina Navratilova was playing against Chris Evert and they had this unbelievable rivalry, here's what the media does to us. When we don't have a rivalry like the guys do at the top 3, and if you include Andy in that 4, then they go, well, there's no depth, okay? And then if you don't have a rival, they say, well, you don't have a rival. What's wrong? You don't have those top 2 or 3 or the exciting stories. But I mean, I still think Serena's always exciting. I think Sharapova, the ratings have gone up since Sharapova's doing better. I mean, there's a lot of great things, but the 3 guys, and Andy Murray is the 4th one of that, are exceptional. I think there is a drop-off after those 4. But
Tsonga might have something to say about that.
Oh, Tsonga. Oh, well, I love Willie Joe. I think he's so much fun to watch.
Let me just ask you quickly, because you're on your way to Wimbledon. You've only just come into town. You've got so many memories there, but what's the one which springs to your mind when you walk through those famous gates?
Well, this is my 51st year in a row, okay? 2 years ago, I had double knee replacement. Actually, Smith & Nephew, which is a British, but it's worldwide. And I snuck, I'm not supposed to do this, but I snuck on the back court, on court 16, I'll never forget it, and hit my first tennis ball again. I had not been able to, I could hardly walk a block. So every time I go out to Wimbledon now, I can just walk and go up and down stairs. I'm so thankful. But I always remember the first time I went there as a young child. And Jerry Williams, who was with the Daily Mail at the time, took me up to the top of Wimbledon and made me close my eyes. And I remember he says, all right, now open them. And you know, I always wanted to win Wimbledon as a child. That was my dream. And I remember looking at the court and going, oh my God, this is it. This is it. I've finally come. I'm so lucky to be able to come to Wimbledon and play at Wimbledon with all the great champions before me. So I always am so privileged just to walk in there and realize that I actually won this. You know, and I won it more than once. I won it many times, and I love doubles and mixed. I love mixed more than anything. And with Owen Williams, I got to, Owen Davidson, I said Owen Williams, he used to promote a tournament. Owen Davidson, a lefty, he and I won 4 mixed together. And then with different women partners, I think Rosa Casals and Martina Navratilova helped me win my 20th, but I coached her when she won her 9th singles.
You guys have got enough titles to go around.
And then Chris Evert, Chris Evert and I always get a big kick out of talking about Wimbledon. So I am one of the lucky ones, and I know it. And I'm really lucky now, after coming to Wimbledon for 51 years, to be healthy again because of my knee replacement.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear about it.
So anybody, don't wait on if you need one, because we tend to wait. Okay. No, it's just changed my whole life. So
well, it's lovely.
Thank you for having me, Ross.
Thank you very much for coming in. Listening to you talking about that reminds me. Kim Clijsters yesterday said Wimbledon was like a Disneyland when she arrived, and listening to you talking, it sounds like the same thing. Lovely to meet you.
It's what we all dream about.
Thank you very much indeed.